Hello, my friend. Welcome to your sleep story. My name is Dalton, and it's my great privilege to be the voice that you listen to as you go to sleep tonight. Tonight we will continue our Great Monuments on Earth nighttime tours, and tonight you will visit the Colosseum and the ancient Roman Forum in Rome. You will have a friendly guide, and you will be the only visitor there. It will be an enchanting and deeply calming experience. If the video helps you, please do hit the like button. Also, do make suggestions for stories. Tonight's story was inspired by one of your suggestions. Finally, don't forget that if you wish the video to end at a particular time, YouTube allows you to set a timer in the settings. And remember to disable autoplay to avoid ads from upcoming videos. Okay, now we'll do the relaxation session before tonight's story. This will take a few minutes. I'm going to count from 10 down to 1, and as I do, allow yourself to feel more and more relaxed as you move closer and closer towards sleep. 10. Feeling the support of the bed or the floor beneath you now. Really appreciating that support, allowing it to add to your sense of safety. 9. Noticing your breath for a moment now. That life-giving force that enters and leaves your body thousands of times per day. Now, when you are ready, take a deep breath in through your nose, and with it, a sense of calm enters your body. And when you exhale, just let go of everything that's not serving you right now. Eight. Remember, the day is done. Whatever has been, has been. Whatever will be, will be. All you have is now. Enjoy this moment. You deserve it. 7. Remember, we all deserve peace. We all deserve rest. We all deserve moments of joy in our lives. 6. noticing any tension now throughout your body, maybe in your feet, your hands, your face. Let it go now. Your body has worked hard for you today. Let it rest. Five. Remember, you are safe. Allow my voice to be a safe anchor for you. 4. Begin to see the Colosseum in your mind's eye now. This place that in a few moments you will be visiting. Sitting there in all its splendor, under the night sky, in the eternal city of Rome. 3. One more time, noticing any tension that you're holding on to. Just let go now. Feel a sense of peace within you. 2. Know that this peace is always there. It's always within you, just waiting for you to find it. 1. Completely letting go now, as I take you on a nighttime walk through the Colosseum. You find yourself standing at the monumental entrance to the Colosseum, the world's largest ancient amphitheater. Marco, your knowledgeable guide, welcomes you with a radiant smile. With a lantern in hand, he invites you to step through the archway, reminding you that this structure, completed in 80 AD, could once hold more than 50,000 spectators. As you begin to walk through the ancient corridors, you start to look around. You look at the stone that lines the walls, the ceilings, and the floor beneath you. Perhaps you imagine the moment each of these stones was placed here. What human being thousands of years ago put this piece of stone here? You touch a wall, and a particular stone, and perhaps for a fleeting moment you envision that person working on a hot Roman day 2 millennia ago. A different world in some ways. Indeed, a very different time in human history. Marco sees that you are looking at the stone and explains that the Colosseum was built mainly of travertine limestone, tough and black-faced concrete. The limestone, he tells you, was quarried from the hills of Rome, requiring countless workers to transport the massive blocks. Your footsteps seem to echo in some way the labor of those who laid these stones, and the air smells of time-worn rock and a subtle, earthy dampness that is both grounding and fascinating. You arrive at the first overlooking point, where you can gaze upon the arena. You look down on this so very ancient place. Normally, of course, this place is filled with tourists. But right now, you are alone here with your friendly guide, feeling perhaps extremely privileged to witness this place at nighttime. The stars look down from above. The stars that weren't much different when this place was built. The ancient Romans who built and worked and saw games in this place once looked up on those stars as well. In a way, maybe you feel connected to those people through the stars above. Marco tells you, as you look down on the splendid Colosseum, that it was used for a variety of public spectacles, including gladiator contests, battle reenactments, and dramas based on classical mythology. All of this history seems to hang in the air, blending with the moonlight that seeps through the arches, casting intricate patterns on the ancient stone. The amphitheater feels alive with both the past and the living, breathing night. Marco now directs you to the upper levels, and as you walk, he mentions that the Colosseum was so ingeniously designed that it could be emptied of its tens of thousands of spectators in mere minutes through 80 entrances. Perhaps you sense the blend of human ingenuity and the raw beauty of nature as you breathe in the cooler air from this height. You look out from the Colosseum and can see the modern city of Rome stretching out in all directions, a reminder of how the ancient and modern coexist here. You reach a quiet spot now, where you pause to take this moment in. This is a powerful place, and you breathe in and out. In and out, reminding yourself that this is such a unique opportunity, a moment you will never forget. Marco tells you that the Colosseum went through centuries of neglect. At different times in history, people didn't appreciate its value. At different times it was used for housing, workshops, and even a quarry. But the Colosseum still stands as a symbol of imperial Rome. It is a living testament to both the grandeur and the complexity of human history. Your lantern light seems to dance with the twinkling stars above. Each pinpoint of light, a silent witness to the eons that have passed since this stone behemoth was first erected. Now you and Marco descend from the upper levels, and he leads you towards the Roman Forum side of the Colosseum. The Forum, he explains, was the epicenter of Roman public life. Just as the Colosseum was the epicenter of its entertainment. Marco tells you that he will bring you to the Forum a little later. As you walk, your hands lightly brush against the worn stone. Each groove and indentation telling stories of time and human touch. With a soft glow from your lantern revealing the way, Marco ushers you to another area and tells you that the Colosseum was built on the site of an artificial lake. that was part of Nero's immense palace. The Domus Aurea. Once that tyrannical emperor was gone, the Flavian emperors decided to give the space back to the Roman people. Maybe you can almost smell the ancient waters as Marco describes them, imagining the transformation from a lake for the pleasure of one to an arena for the masses. Marco tells you that the original name of the Colosseum was the Flavian Amphitheater, named after the Flavian dynasty of emperors who built it. The term Colosseum was derived much later, inspired by a colossal statue of Nero that used to stand nearby. Maybe the fact that this tidbit talks of such grandiosity that the very name of this place is rooted in something larger than life. Maybe this adds to the weight of this moment, knowing that the countless events of this place have shaped its identity over many centuries. Next, you enter what seems like a maze of underground chambers and tunnels, known as the Hypogeum. This subterranean world was invisible to the spectators, but was essential to the spectacles. Marco explains that exotic animals were kept here, alongside gladiators and stage props. As you walk, you feel a change in temperature. It's cooler here, and slightly more humid, as if the earth itself is whispering secrets of a world gone by. You can still look up to the sky from here. You feel safe. And maybe your imagination imagines the activity that once happened right where you stand. The shows were elaborate in the Colosseum. The emperors were eager to please their people, and so the activity underneath this stage would have been immense. Maybe for a moment you see a buzz of activity as stagehands manage the lifts that would bring people and animals up to the main floor. Perhaps you are amazed at the ingenuity of these ancient people. Before you proceed further, Marco pauses to let you absorb the atmosphere. In that silence, maybe you find a deep connection to the labyrinthine paths of history and the multitude of lives that have converged in this very spot. He turns to you and says, "These stones have witnessed emperors and commoners, cruelty and courage, beginnings and ends. And tonight, they witness you. Now Marco tells you that it's time to leave the Colosseum and go and have a walk outside in the Forum. The Forum is another ancient site. It was, in a way, the downtown of ancient Rome. As you exit the Colosseum, the grand structure casts a long shadow on the path ahead. And you imagine the many ancient Romans who walked in and out of these doors. And as you walk, you look back and see numbers above the doors. Marco explains to you that the Romans would have had a form of ticket, and each ticket would have told them which number door to enter. Now you take a leisurely stroll toward the Roman Forum, guided by the soft illumination of the moon and distant city lights. As you enter the Forum, Marco explains that this was the heartbeat of ancient Rome. Political gatherings, social meetings, and commercial activities all took place here. Even after 2 millennia, the ground seems to hum with the echoes of senatorial debate. The air is laced with a subtle scent of foliage from nearby trees, a reminder that nature continues its eternal cycle amid human-made grandeur. You walk among the ruins of ancient temples and churches, each building with its own unique history. And as you walk, you look down to the floor beneath you. This is the original ancient Roman road. Large stones cover the ground. And you can almost recreate the splendor of that ancient place in your mind's eye. You are walking on the same stones that people like Marcus Aurelius once did. Marco points out the Temple of Saturn, telling you it was one of the Forum's oldest temples, built initially in 497 BC. In its heyday, it functioned as the treasury and was also closely related to the Saturnalia, a festival dedicated to the god Saturn. Maybe you imagine ancient Romans here, engaging in merriment, and maybe you allow a sense of joy to be a part of this very human experience. Your guide leads you to the base of the Palatine Hill, one of the 7 hills of Rome. Legend has it that Rome was founded here by Romulus and Remus, the twin brothers raised by a she-wolf. As you stand there, overlooking the Forum and its ancient structures, bathed in moonlight, maybe a sense of peaceful solitude washes over you. Marco looks at you and says, "Though the voices have long since faded, and the stones have weathered many storms, the soul of Rome is immortal. tonight, you've touched it. With an inviting nod, Marco suggests ascending Palatine Hill for an even more expansive view. As you climb the gentle slope, the ruins of the Forum grow smaller, yet somehow more majestic, enveloped in the hushed tones of the night. Once at the top, you're greeted by the sprawling ruins of what was once the Imperial Palace, home to emperors and the backdrop for decisions that changed the course of history. Marco tells you this was not just a seat of power, but a canvas of art adorned with mosaics, frescoes, and gardens. You walk along the Farnese Gardens, and while the plants have changed over the years, Marco assures you that the layout is mostly true to its historical form. Perhaps you imagine here the ancient Roman nobles, the emperor and his wife, and their children enjoying the gardens here. Maybe it reminds you that we as humans are all connected in one way or another. Our connection to nature binds us together, even over thousands of years. These people weren't that different to you or I. They loved the smell of roses. They loved to look upon a starry night. To feel a comforting summer breeze upon their faces. Marco then guides you to a lookout point that offers an almost aerial view of the Forum and Colosseum. Standing there, you realize how all of these monumental structures are interconnected, much like the complex web of stories, ambitions, and destinies that played out here. As you take in the view, Marco tells you about the Roman concept of genius loci, the protective spirit of a place. He explains how ancient Romans believed that locations had their own distinct spirits, which influenced the lives and events that unfolded there. As he speaks, a light wind rises, as if affirming the presence of something ancient, yet eternal. After a moment of shared silence, Marco suggests it's time to make your way back. As you descend the hill and retrace your steps through the Forum, a comforting realization settles within you. You've communed with a fragment of eternity, witnessed by the spirits and stones of Rome. Then Marco says, in the quiet of the night, Rome isn't just a place you see, but a place you feel deep in your soul. As you reach the edge of the Roman Forum, Marco turns to you one last time. Remember he says. Rome is not just a place on a map. It's a feeling, a layering of stories, epochs, and souls. When you walk through its ancient streets and stand among its millennia-old ruins, you're becoming a part of its grand narrative. And tonight, you've done just that. Connecting not just with the visible stones and structures, but also with the invisible essence that is Rome. He hands you a small keepsake, a replica of an ancient Roman coin, a small memory of a night in which you've traveled through time, he says, his voice tinged with warmth. As you hold the coin, it's as if you're holding a piece of Rome's enduring spirit, a spirit that will continue to echo in your heart long after you've left. You say your goodbyes and walk away from the forum, feeling the energy of the ancient city within you. The night seems a shade darker now. Its stars a bit brighter, as if winking their approval of your nocturnal journey through time.